Welcome, welcome everybody. Welcome to Where Are They Now? As you know, every single week we bring you a candid interview with our legendary artists and other music business people, local or international, who have contributed to the South African music heritage. Here, they share their journeys, their stories, their amazing experiences, and we are the true witnesses to these lives so well lived. Where are they now? Tonight's guest, this is a true South African icon, a lady that has brought so much joy to us with all her incredible talent, her unstoppable zest for all things music. Please welcome Vicky Sampson.
Good evening, Ms. Cindy Alter. Thank you so very much for your beautiful gesture to invite me onto your amazing show. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I mean, every time I get someone who's brilliant and amazing like you, I'm like, wow, how did I manage to get this person? And you were so absolutely open and giving, and you were like, oh my God, Cindy, I'd love to do your show. So thank you for being with us tonight, Vicky. We love to take everybody on a journey. We want to ask the questions that you want to answer. This is not like trying to catch you out in some stories and blah, blah, blah. It's not a gossip show. It's none of that. We all know the stories anyway.
No, I was looking forward to
that's it. No, that's what I said. We know those stories. Those stories are old. We go to the new stuff, the fresh stuff. Thank you for coming on the show. As I said, your music has been a thread connecting South Africans and abroad for so many years. And here you are. You're still inspiring us all with your amazing voice and also fighting for musicians' rights with your strong commitment to this industry. I want to talk about that later because I think that is a very important journey that you're on right now. And we will talk about that when I say, where are you now and what are you doing? Right now, let's go back to the beginning. Just a few little odds and ends. Where did you grow up?
I grew up on the Cape Flat.
Wow.
In a township called Hanover Park.
Okay.
And as you know, Hanover Park is also very popular, made one of our very own Benny McCarthy, comes from there.
Okay.
Our very own Jonathan Rubain, who's a very well-known gospel artist and who now has gone on to have his own television show, Quirkies with Jonathan Rubain. We have our minister before his portfolio was Minister of Social Development. He's now Minister of Community Safety, Mr. Albert Fritz, whom I kind of grew up with.
Okay.
And we were
kids.
As well, not so much kids. Bertie was always a bit older than all of us. He was our chairman of the youth club, the Hanover Park Youth Club. And we established the youth club in 1979 in Hanover Park to address some of the social ills, etc., and to just bring awareness about our rights as South African people at that time. As you can imagine, it was a bit rough.
Sure. Yeah.
And we took on many issues that directly concerned our communities. Like at the time, most of us didn't have electricity. So that became a campaign, which we directly addressed, etc. And we were always, when we weren't doing the work of changing our environment and changing our community and changing the status quo of the time, we would be on a train, like 30 of us from Athlone or Crawford, and on this train to Cork Bay, and then we go and gaan on the beach there for the whole day. And those were the days, I mean, that was part of my upbringing, Cindy. So coming from that political kind of environment and activist kind of environment, I find it quite interesting that all these years later, my life is maybe
doing it again.
Maybe I was.
And that's how it happens. No, it happens like that. You were being groomed in some way by the universe or whatever we want to call it. Vicky, even as I was going to say, you were socially aware. That was the thing. And how funny is it that music is one of the most socially aware, what can we say, mediums, careers, anything you do with music, people don't realize what an impact music has on the world. I mean, we could talk about, I always mention the Vietnam War and Bob Dylan writing these songs and Joan Baez singing these songs about the war and Jackson Brown singing about it.
Yes.
So, you know, we are involved. We will always be involved. Do you see any of your messages? Yeah.
I
Can you see this little message?
Miss Alison Ogston. Yay!
Okay. So let me tell you who's on board quickly, because these people adore the show and they are always here. Carlene Natasha Ribeiro. Loves the hair news, Cindy. Thank you very much. Shelley Howroyd, she's my photographer and one of my business partners. Jeff Owen, hello, Jeff. Jenny Horton, she absolutely loves the show as well. Christian Stein, also a brilliant guy. Ali Ogliston, Trevor Kerr, and of course, Julian von Plato. Vicky Sampson, a true African superstar. And during the evening, I'll just read a couple of these things because people send us beautiful messages. So, Vicky, you started, as you said, in the flats and, you know, socially aware of the injustices of this country and what was going on.
Yeah.
How did music find you out of all of that? Where did that come?
Music was always there, whether I was at school or with my family gatherings. I sang at my very first, my first little church choir at the age of 10.
Okay.
At the school I was at in Cecil Road Primary.
Okay.
Way of that in me in this white outfit with his spectacles and my pigtails.
I think we got some photos. Let's look at this. Oh my God, look at that.
That was my first day at school.
Isn't that precious? That is so beautiful.
Oh man, that was in District 6. That's my mom.
Wow.
That's
Okay,
me
family.
next to her, and that's my cousin in front. And I think that was my dad's car.
It looks like a cool car. And
Look at that. That was either Kirstenbosch or Claremont Gardens. We used to go regularly. My mom was working as a domestic housekeeper.
Really? Wow.
During quite a few years of my upbringing, and I spent some time with my maternal grandmother, but I used to go and stay with her every fortnight. And then at some point I moved with her. That's my dad and I, my late dad and I. My dad was known as South Africa's Johnny Mathis.
Wow. So you come from a musical family. I mean, your dad sang. Did your mom have any?
No, my mom had a nice voice, but she never, that wasn't her calling. Her calling was also more in the political arena and stuff, you know.
Okay. Love it.
I think that was when I just started out, just before I left Cape Town. Look at me. Good Lord, look at that hairstyle.
It's so 60s and 70s, you know. It's that whole thing. But I love that look. I just always loved that look. No, I loved it. It was so coiffed. The hair was coiffed.
It had no choice. That hair just knew it had to go like that. So
that's it. And the gloves and the nice purse and the white dress and the shoes. Yeah,
hey, man, we had style, you know. So yeah, Cindy, I think I was always singing, like I said. And then my aunt entered me in a talent competition at the age of 15.
Okay.
And at the town centre in Mitchell's Plain, and I won first prize. And then subsequently, not long after that, I joined my first pop band called Last Dawn.
Okay.
I was holding down a day job, and I was rehearsing with the band, and we were performing all around Cape Town and stuff, and getting to sleep sometimes at like 3 in the morning, and then having to get up at 6 to go to work. But of course, I was only 16. What did I care, you know?
Of course.
And then I performed with a group which came over from the UK and America. They were called not the Stylistics, the Realistics.
Okay.
The Realistics, and it was called the Count Pushkin Road Show. That was
I remember there was vodka. Count Pushkin vodka, was it? I remember.
Vodka. Yeah, and I performed with these guys. Gosh, we were at a couple of venues, and that was the first time I was actually ripped off because I was never paid for those shows. And that was all happening at the age of 16, eh? So
what did we know?
It was fun. It was fun. And I remember in the one show in Athlone, they had Bones. I think Bones was playing saxophone, Stompie Manana was playing trumpet, and I saw Bra Stompie a couple of years ago when we were doing the Clegg project for him. I actually bumped into Bra Stompie, and this man looked so amazing, and I think it was Barney Ratchabani on saxophone. That was some of the backing band. So that was my inroads, and then my aunt entered me in another talent competition in 93, in 82, called Follow That Star, which I didn't win.
Yeah.
And then I was chosen as the overall guest to come to the Soft Shoes one that year.
Remember the soft shoes.
Yes. Jervis Pennington.
Jervis, that's right. Yeah.
Yes. And so I went onto their show as a guest. And at the same time, I got my first professional gig in Swaziland at the Why Not. And this was in 83. I
played at the Why Not as well, darling.
It's a fabulous place, eh?
Best of the best.
They must bring Why Not back, man.
Well, that's the best little whorehouse in Swaziland.
That was, can you imagine for an 18-year-old, that was like mind-boggling for me.
That's hitting the jackpot, you know what I'm saying? And especially at 18. That's huge, 18. Playing in these big clubs in Swaziland. Wow.
Yeah, and I was backed by one of the best bands at the time, Crossroads. I don't know if you remember Crossroads.
No, I don't.
Danny Marie and them. They were big cover bands at the time, you know. South Africa had some great cover bands. Like, look at today, the Rockets are still going. Yes. And those guys performed those covers. Yeah, those guys performed those covers. I'm sure if the original artist had come and heard them performing, many of them would have been shocked and gone, what? Because that was what they did. They did it very, very well. So that was kind of how I started out, Sins.
Okay. People just don't even realize, and I have to mention this, the immensity of the talent of the African nation, you know.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's out of control. Even the cover bands, even the blah, you know, whatever. I was like I was doing a gig recently. I was just on board with a team, and it was Bra Moses from the Soul Brothers.
Wow.
You know, I was like, I was like on my knees in honor to play with him, you know, and his organ and that thing and Babsi Mlangeni and
Babsi
Mlangeni, you know,
gee, I mean, look at remember Benjamin Ball when he came out with Flash Your Flashlight. I mean, geez, that song was ahead of its time, eh?
Absolutely, and
even now, if you listen to that song now, that song's still, it's still a winner, you know. And then, you know, I mean, we've really had such a gamut of a scope of music in this country that has been unsung and unacknowledged.
Hello.
So if you look at yourselves, look at what you guys managed to do, you know. Yeah. I mean, you had some of the biggest hits that this country's ever known, you know.
We should have.
Yes, so South Africa shouldn't be taking a back seat, not at this time. And we have a lot to look back on. But I think the way forward is to not forget where we've come from, Cindy. We were talking about this briefly earlier.
That's what I'm talking about right here on the show, is I want people out there to remember artists like you, where you've come from, where you are now, and your journey that got you here and who you worked with and all that stuff, because this is our legacy and this is our history. And people listening out there, thank you for being on board with us.
Yes.
Thank you for getting it. Thank you for understanding the show. That's what we're trying to do here, is just bring it to you and show you what we got here. We got the most incredible
that the world has never seen, many or heard. You just mentioned Bra Moses. I mean, look at what Ladysmith Black Mambazo did in the world. Look at what is the man who plays the mouth thingy? I can't remember his name now. Oh my God, there's so many of us that have gone, Cindy, wherever we've gone in the world, we have really performed and we have shone. I think it's a tragedy that so many of us at a certain time in the history of this country had to leave in order to get the acknowledgement, you know.
Of course.
And God willing, that's why people like ourselves should be doing all we can now to set the record straight and to show our younger artists who are right there right now on the cusp of their careers, that they come from greatness. We had amazing bands.
Absolutely.
Look at yourselves. There was Little Sister, and there was Mango Groove, and there was Clout. I mean, good grief, Ballyhoo, Trevor Rabin. Look what Trevor Rabin went on and did, Who knew? Who's singing the praises of these people anymore?
No, it's not happening much, because everything's about the future, which is absolutely real. I understand that. And the youth, it's all about the youth. I love that too. But I mean, I'm a 63-year-old woman. I've just signed a record deal. How many people do that? You know what I'm saying? Well, thank you. What I was meaning to say is that that's unheard of. Oh no,
yes.
you way past your sell-by date at like 30, 35. It's like, no, we don't want to hear what you got to say. And I mentor young kids, and I sit with them and I talk, and they go, wow, what you did, auntie. They say Tannie and auntie, and wow, it's amazing what you did. And just showing them these things, and just so they know, music came from somewhere. It didn't happen today. It didn't just start here in your little Mac studio, where you got a lacquer beat and you got on the hit parade. You know what I'm saying? I want to play a video, please, because I want to hear that. Ladies and gentlemen, Vicky Sampson's voice, I mean, everybody knows. It's legendary, it's beautiful, it's soulful. Please, can we play a video, Jules? I love this song.
Cedric gave me this song.
Did he produce this song for you?
Yes. If it's the one I'm thinking of, then
it's called One. What's it called? One
Tribe.
Is it One Tribe?
Is it One Tribe you're starting with?
We picked one of them. I don't know where. Julian, which one did we pick first? Whatever it is.
I am ready for the music.
Do you know who's going to be on stage right
Yes,
now?
I do, because I did the coming up. The magical and most amazing woman is in our studio. In fact, I copy her all the time. I do this. My African dream. Yes.
Vicky Sampson, here we go.
Oh, Alan wrote this song. Alan Lazar wrote this.
Through the world, the fire and the rain, in lands of dust and drums, a child cries in pain. I try to see, I try to find a shining city on the hill. Said I walk the road tonight. wheels of stone. Yes, they did. But always through it all, your voice was calling me. Your breath is warm, your heart is gold. And as I cry for the children, I feel your love, I feel your truth. You speak the words of freedom. We were meant to be as one. We are one. We are one soul. We are one tribe. Under heaven. We are one. We are one tribe under heaven. We are one. We are one. Yes, we
Woo!
One heart, one voice, one nation, one soul, one people.
Wow.
We are.
Wow, I love that song.
I mean,
Ah,
is that not the epitome of you and your voice? That's
oh,
it's
absolutely,
everything
absolutely.
in one. If I want to say Vicky Sampson, of course African Dream, but that you went everywhere. You did your lows, you did your highs, you spoke from the heart, you know.
Thank you. I think for me, I learned quite a few years ago, Cindy, that I'm never going to take on a song that doesn't mean something to me. Because if
Ha.
it doesn't mean anything to me, it's not going to mean anything to those out there who really need to hear the message. And
Yes.
so for me, it's imperative as a creative being, as someone that has been blessed with a platform as we have, to
Absolutely.
sing and to entertain and to touch people's consciences and to change lives, that we
That's
do
it.
so with a conscience of changing, with love, and with being aware of what the lyrics are about and what the intention is behind the song,
And 100% to honor the song.
to
We
honor the song.
honor the song. That is the thing.
Honor the song.
Like
Yeah.
honor the song. I mean, even I used to do session work and just sing some crappy old song that meant nothing to me. I honored the song. I gave it my all. I will never
Yes.
ever do a half-assed job, and you just like that as well. Tony Gaza, do you remember Tony Gaza, drummer?
Yes.
Tony
Yes.
saying hello, Sins,
Hi,
and welcome
Tony.
to the show.
Hey,
Nice
Tony,
to
how are
see
you, my
you.
dear? I love you
There
too,
is.
Tony. Thank you.
Oh man, too beautiful.
Oh,
Kim
man.
Liversage. Kim, thank you so much for your message. Rachel Botma and
Yeah.
Tim Hill
Oh.
from the UK. Tim has come to say how's it. Tim
Oh,
is my
hey, Tim.
PR agent. You know Tim Hill. He's my PR agent, but he always pops on because he's always thinking, the PR guys think, no, we
Yes.
must do a you duet. Look at that. I think you should
There,
do
you
a
just
duet.
said it. You just said, why not, Tim?
Why not?
Hey, man, I think it's time,
Sure,
God
I'm
works in mysterious ways.
up for
Yes!
it, baby.
There we go. Hey,
So-
Cindy, we've got some work ahead.
We've got some. There's always work ahead, sweetheart. Marion, my dear friend from Germany, Paul Anthony Davies. So thank you everybody for coming on the show. We're gonna. Okay, so we know you can sing. That's not in dispute here at all. How did African Dream find you, Vicky? You.
Wow. That song my goodness. That song happened in 95. The beginning, I was thinking, well, Tusk Music, whom I was signed to, signed to Tusk Warner.
Was
And
Benji involved in Tusk?
yes, Benji.
Yeah,
Benji
we
was the
love
man. He
Benji.
was
Love him.
he was head of A&R and stuff. And they'd acknowledged something. They heard me first when I performed as a guest artist on Mark Alex.
Okay, yeah.
And yeah, Mark Alex was one of the artists, and so I performed with them, and then they offered me the recording deal, the first recording deal in '92. So that was produced by Alan Lazar, and the first song, Love Will Shine on You, that was a hit and did very well. And then by '95, we were thinking of doing another album. So we went back to Alan, who was at that point thinking of leaving South Africa.
Yes.
And Alan and he called me to his place in West End one morning and said, Vicky, I have the song. And he just sat at his piano and he started playing the chords of African Dream. And I was like, shoot, what is this? And he said, would you be interested in the song? And then he started singing it to me in his voice. Alan was like, I can't sing this. he just banged out the song and started singing. And I started singing along with him. And as I was singing it, I was like, I think this is a cool song. And that was the beginning of it. And then the song was produced. Tusk sent me to London. We first recorded the song here with some great South African artists. I think we have Beulah Hashi was singing backing vocals with me and with Zamo Mbuto and
Yes.
Wings, the late Wings. I don't know if you remember Wings. He was
yes, I do.
phenomenal
Absolutely.
singer. Yes,
Absolutely.
and Wings was on that recording with me. So that song was just like, I don't know how many times we took the chorus, because there were only 8 of us who sang the actual choir, and then they triple tracked it and whatever, and then became this huge choir.
Yeah.
Then the song, we ended up taking the whole project to London, where I recorded with Will Mowat from Soul to Soul. I actually ended up at Jazzy B's studio recording 2 demos there, and did I meet Jazzy? I don't think I met Jazzy, but we recorded the first 2 demos at his studio. And the rest of the album was recorded in London in 1995. During the winter of 95, going into summer, actually. Winter was going out in the UK. So I spent 7 weeks there.
Yes.
And I just loved London. I wonder one day if there was ever a city that I'd maybe consider retiring for half the year, it might be London, because it was just such an incredible experience to be in a place like that. And I actually bumped into many South Africans.
Of course.
Benji and I were sitting in a restaurant the one day, weirdly enough, like on Leicester Square or something, and sitting in one of these arbitrary restaurants, and we're sitting talking to each other, and the next thing there's this couple next to us, and the woman talking, and she looks and she says, hey, aren't you Vicky Sampson from South Africa? I'm like, huh? Really, lady? So she's like, my husband and I are here on holiday and on honeymoon, and we love that song of yours. And I was gobsmacked that of all the places in the world we chose to sit down at, there's a South African couple, But so that for me was an incredible experience, recording the album Zai. That was my second album, which African Dream was the natural first single on that album. We recorded the video at Sterkfontein Caves. It took us like 2.5 days. It was phenomenal.
Whoa. Oh my gosh.
Yes, we had Mark Engels was our director. That year in '96, the album went on. We won like 4 awards at the Second Summers.
Okay.
Including best female vocalist, best album, best pop album, best video. So that was just an amazing year for me.
Huge. Well,
But then that was just the beginning, Cindy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was the beginning for you.
That
song took you on your journey. So let's go with that. Where did that take you? It took you everywhere. It took you overseas. Firstly,
Germany,
the African Cup of Nations.
Cup of Nations in '96. Yeah.
Talk a bit about that. Just I wasn't here. I wasn't living in South Africa, but you hear things about what goes on at home, of course.
Yeah,
and we heard about you singing that song.
Well, I because Tusk just had this amazing publicity and marketing team, and they saw the opportunity. Hey, Vicky needs to go and sing at the opening and closing. Nogal both, the opening and closing ceremonies of the
I
African Cup
love
of
it.
Nations.
Yes.
And there I was in the stadium at F&B Stadium. Not really, it didn't hit me until a few years later, Cindy, how big that occasion was. Standing there singing to our nation, literally. And of course, South Africa won that year. We won the AFCON. And I always felt from that moment on, the wheels just started then turning with African Dream. And before I knew it, the song was used for so many corporate functions that I was booked for with the song. So on a strange level, though, the album never sold as many albums as I'd hoped or as we'd hoped. But the publicity that I gained from that second album with African Dream, I was on every newspaper, I was on every TV show, every radio show. I was on every corporate stage for well into 10, 12 years of that song, eh?
You see,
so what a blessing.
You can't buy that publicity. That is like generated by the song and what it meant to everybody. And by you singing the song, it's like Substitute and me. People are like, nobody could sing Substitute Cindy's song. You know what I'm saying? It's like that song. I made it alive. I made it alive. You took that song and you made it live.
With it. I think that song for me, it really came into its coreness of Vicky Sampson and who I am.
Yes.
Probably around about 2003, 4, because I went on in 2005. End of 2005, I auditioned for We Will Rock You, the musical.
Okay.
And I got the lead role of the Killer Queen, and we toured South Africa. Yeah, sure. So I don't know if they just chose me because Vicky Sampson, the African Dream, whatever. But be that as it may, it was an incredible thing to do, because that for me, I love the theatre environment, man. I love the professionalism of it. When you in that kind of show that you're on call.
It's slick. Everything's slick. I've never done theatre. I've never done it. I don't know if I can. It takes a certain kind of mindset to you commit yourself to something. And, it's like the old days when we used to do the residencies for 6 months or 12 months. And we used to sing 6-7 nights a week.
Yes, that was hectic. But the thing is, at least in that environment, you can change your material. In a musical such as that, I must say, I think by the time we reached the end of it, I was saying, thank you, Lord, this has been great. But I don't think I can sing. I don't think I can sing Another One Bites the Dust one more time. But
I get it.
So that song has blessed me. It's blessed my family. It's that I'm still here, Cindy. Some days we also briefly touched on that earlier. What a blessing it is in the times that we've had as performers and as artists in this country, that we've come through everything we have, and that we are still here today. We are still sane. We're still alive. We are still contributing towards our nation and towards our industry. And I was saying that it's very sad. I've said this a few times over the years. This seems to be one of the only countries in the world, you mentioned it earlier, where it would appear that the more experience you've had, the more years you have now,
the less they want to use you. The less they use you.
So, and that's not just in the music sector, it's across the board.
No, of course it is. And women as well. Women fight with that a lot. Ageism in the music business, but ageism with women. Women are so looked upon as, you haven't had any work done, you should. It's that pressure, I mean, that's why women are having so much done. And I'm not judging anybody. Go and do whatever you want to do. It's be happy in your life. But I think we are losing the sight of what beauty is.
Yeah.
And we've lost the sight of what integrity and honesty is. And I'm talking about now in music as well.
Absolutely.
In music, so every other country, you know, they bow down on their knees when Phil Collins walks into the room,
Yes.
or Peter Gabriel, or
Yes.
Sting. They're like, whoa, we get you, sir. Here they
Yeah.
go.
Thank you.
Is that old tart Cindy Alter? Jesus, why don't you shut up already?
No, I've heard it. It's like, oh my God, is Vicky Sampson going to sing that song in?
Yeah,
I'm like,
you know what I'm saying.
yeah.
Now, these are
Somebody-
the things we live with people that don't understand this, you know. But we have to
No, I mean-
constantly being reinventing ourselves and stuff. And there's no reason why.
No, I must be honest. I've reached the point, to be honest, Cindy. I was thinking about it towards the end of last year. Someone was talking to me about a specific project that I would like to embark on. This is a passion project for me, and God willing, I will do so in this next couple of years of my life. It is
Okay.
It is about Africa and this continent, and the work that I want to do here in the continent. And someone was saying, "Oh, but Vicky, you've got to work on your. What is your social media like? You know, how many
Yes,
followers
I
you have
know.
in that?" And I said, she said, "I can see you're not good at that, eh?" And I said, "No, I'm busy with other things. I don't have time to have people following me 24/7. And besides, I'd hate that. I don't want that, you know." So she said, "Yeah, but if you want to do this, then you're going to have to get your following up to like X amount and blah." So I went to it and I thought about it, and I thought, yes, I understand. And especially now with COVID, you know, that has been one of our main ways of showing the world that we're still here and that we still count. But when I thought about it seriously, since I thought, you know what? Damn, man, I don't want to, what does it mean having 100 million people like me and nobody knows me? They don't even know me. So tonight they're going to like me, and then next week they're going to move on to somebody else, you know. I do know that as you just said, the journey we've walked, the music we've made, the things we've done in our lives has counted for something, that somewhere somebody will remember what we've done and what we stand for. So it's not that important to me to have 1 million likes on my Facebook page. You know, sometimes when I do go on there, I say things that I feel I really need to say. And it's always with the motive of trying to be as positive as possible, and as uplifting as possible, because the world has enough darkness. You know, I don't want to add on to that stuff. So for me, social media is beautiful.
So it's a means to an end, and I've made a lot of contacts with people over the years through social media, which has been good for me.
Absolutely.
Vicky, we're having trouble with your sound, honey, again.
Is it?
Can we? I just wanted to take this moment to play a very cool video.
Oh,
this is Give Your Love to Me. This is like funky doodle. I love that stuff. I absolutely love that stuff.
Cedric used to call it "Give Your Glove to Me."
Is it?
Yeah. When we were
as Cedric does. I love this. This is so cool.
Telling me your love is strong, but I don't understand why you keep doing this to me. 'Cause my life is not a game. Don't put me through this pain. Quit playing with my heart. Let me take you by the hand. I'll help you understand. This game of love tears me apart.
vibe, man. I love that. That's so groovy. That's groovy. And that's very Cedric.
Very, very Ceds, you know.
I love it.
Oh man, we had such fun recording that song. It was amazing.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Is the sound a little better now?
It's actually not great, but hey, let's just keep going. I don't know how the people out there are. How's it sounding out there? As long as it's sounding all right with everybody. Some people from England have popped on. My cousin Rachel, 30 songs has your name on it. Her top 30 has your name on it. Hilton Carlster. Hilton says, wow, Vicky, just awesome. Watching from Randburg. Just miss you lots.
Hilton. Hey,
Yeah,
Hilton.
there's it. And Anthony, of course, our friend in Mallorca, Palma, Mallorca. He said he spent a number of great nights at the Jolly Co-op with some very fine and cool musicians from the Flats suburbs. So he's also been around. The hair, the glam, the disco vibes. Yeah, we love that. Oh, man.
Sweet man. No, I love that song, and I love creating that video for it. I had one of the best stylists in the country do it for me.
It was magnificent.
Carl Isaac, yeah.
So, darling, let's move on to, you've done 3 solo albums.
Mm-hmm.
You've been married with kids?
Yes. I've been married twice.
Okay.
The first marriage he's the father of my children.
Okay.
He's a musician himself.
Yes.
From Durban, and he was Johnny Clegg's bass player for many, many years.
Okay.
Johnny had a couple of bass players.
Indeed.
He had a couple, including...
It wasn't Gary Van Sale, was it? No, I'm kidding. Sorry. Because Gary's a very good friend of mine. So
you're talking about Gary.
Gary. He was he was Johnny's bass player for a long time in Savuka.
Yeah. No, it wasn't that one.
I know it wasn't. Trevor.
No, it wasn't.
Trevor.
Trevor D'Angini.
Can we touch on women in the industry a little bit?
Yeah, please.
Because we've had to do different things at times to keep us there, to not be seen as divas just because we need to speak our minds. You know, and has that affected you in your life?
You know, I think actually I wish I was more of a diva.
Me too.
To be honest, you know, I don't know, this whole diva thing for me kind of het baie hand uitgeruk or rukt, hand out, as they would directly translate. I think it just became a bit overused, the whole term of being a diva and what it means, you know, especially in this country. I believe I've never been disliked yet, as far as I know, in the industry for throwing toys out of my cart. I will throw my toys out of my cart if you insist on not giving me what I want, which is respect. Which is respect, not just for my craft and for what I do, but for me as a person, as a being, whether I'm a woman or whether I'm a man or whether I'm young or old, then eventually I'm going to bite you back, you know, because Cindy, you know, I think one of the things that I've always tried to teach up and coming performers is to teach them the discipline of trying to have that self-respect, because if you don't have it for yourself, nobody else is going to have it for you. And look, I've been walked over a couple of times in the industry. I've been had quite a few times. I've been made empty promises by people over the years, I suppose. But I think to a certain degree, one allows certain things in one's life to happen, doesn't one? You know, one's got to take responsibility for that.
You've touched that one. You've definitely, and especially. Yeah, and especially in this industry, it's like, nobody books me, and nobody wants to do this, and nobody helps me, and all this. We've got to help ourselves.
Absolutely.
If you don't get off your own ass, nobody gonna take you off it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but also if you're the kind of person who is insecure about everybody else around you, and their abilities and their gifts, which unfortunately, I think I've experienced that in my life, in my career.
Lot.
And sadly, from women, from my counterparts. And I've always battled with that kind of mindset, is because why would you be insecure about me? Because you've got your own stuff. You take care of your stuff. And you know, to a certain degree, I think many times over the years, I used to actually try and take a back seat. Because there are certain gifts and abilities that you know you have and that you can.
And you don't have to shout about it, yeah.
You don't have to shout about it, but also at times to just rather step back a bit, you know, step to the side, let you have your moment. Let's be gracious about this, you know, because I don't always have to be heard and seen. So I think women need to learn that. We as women need to learn that, to start nurturing ourselves. And then nurturing each other.
Yes. Well, because it's a powerful thing, and it's not just a woman's movement. It's a people movement.
It's a
people need
movement.
to be. I think if anything was learned out of this COVID lockdown and everything, is that you've only got these people. Nothing else exists. Nothing matters. You don't have work. You don't have this. You don't have that. You've just got your basics.
Yes.
So isn't that really what we should be living with anyway? Just live with your basis.
Yeah, look at us, you know. I suppose we could be prime examples of that kind of mindset of, and I suppose to a certain degree for some time there, maybe I took things for granted as well. Maybe I didn't realize that one day, Victoria, you're going to be sitting and looking back and going, what the hell happened? Where did my life go?
Sure.
And not to always expect that red carpet treatment, etc., etc. But I do know that there are certain standards that I've set myself. So don't you go and undermine my standards for me.
Absolutely.
Because I do believe I know what I'm worth, you know. And I still find at times that is still a battle, Cindy. And in this country, it's like we're always trying to prove ourselves. We're always trying to show people, but look, I can do this. And I don't bother much anymore, to be honest. I just don't bother much with that kind of thing anymore. I couldn't be bothered because, as I said earlier, you know, it's not about social media and the likes and that. I have a track record. I have a track record. Go to my website.
Yes.
You know?
And it's like it's enough to bang on the door. Banging on the door the whole time to listen, just hear me. You don't have to do that anymore.
No,
we have to actually sit back and say, this is me, this is what I do, this is what I've done, here's my life in the book, you know. I don't want to run around having to prove myself all the time. I feel that way too. You know, it's like, it's tiring. And it takes a lot of energy where you could use your energy for other things, which is something I want to talk about. You are an entrepreneur. You're a businesswoman. You've moved into new areas of your life. Let's talk about some of those areas. I know Tumsa is a big love of yours. Let's talk about that a bit, you know. I want to get the gist of it. Yeah, of course.
Well, I suppose we're all business people. Yes. I don't think, you know, that's one of the tragedies about this country, is that music and art has never been perceived as a business, right? As such, by government, by the private business sector, etc., etc. I could go on ad nauseum, but I think maybe artists are now getting into the mindset that, hang on a second, because of this is what I do, or I play instruments and I sing or whatever.
Yes.
This is my business. This is my business. This is my exchange. So I sing, I get paid.
Yes.
Maybe it's time I start taking care of that, you know. So I started a company with Gabby, our Secretary General of the Trade Union, and
Gabby
another
LaRue.
partner, Gabby LaRue. We started MCI about 4 years ago, which was going to be our company, our business, and then we started an NPC called One Tree Development Projects, which was purely focused on the development of the youth here on the Cape Flats, etc. We created a beautiful musical called Mzansi Many Roots, One Tree, which we put on at Artscape, etc., with 46 amazing young talented artists, from dance to hip-hop to rap to Afrikaans to the more contemporary styles of dance and of music. And sadly, Cindy, we didn't get much support from the powers that be, from our Department of Arts and Culture at that point. And I think we were running ourselves ragged, you know, and every cent that we had, our resources and that was going into keeping this thing afloat. And so when we did the shows, whatever money we made, we saw to it that we paid our kids. Our kids were paid because our kids come from Lavendale, Mitchell's Plain, all around the Cape. And it was a beautiful, beautiful show. So that was the one thing. And then at the time, Gabby and I were already involved with that. We had formed part of something else. But that thing fell through. We had to walk away from that. It was also a musical entity. I won't mention the name, but we all agreed collectively we were going to walk away from it. And at that point, it was me, it was Gabby, it was Jitsvinger. Have you frozen? Are you still there? It was Ernestine Dean from Woodface 5. Janine Blackpool, Zamium Dinky. Then we formed TUMSA, the Trade Union for Musicians of South Africa. So as a businesswoman at this point, I'm waiting for the business to take off. But the business of the business is taking care of the business, which is what we as the trade union are doing at this point in time. And pretty much it's been Gabs and I for the past year anyway running TUMSA. TUMSA is, we are not formally registered as a trade union. Our constitution is with the Department of Employment and Labour, and we've been having great communication with them to help us and assist us to get the stamp of approval as the first recognized labour union for musicians in the country.
Which is like a miracle, because that's never happened. I mean, they've tried for years to do it. But you mentioned something earlier that really stuck with me, is that musicians don't think of themselves, and other people also don't think of themselves as business people. It's like, oh, they just play and they go and they work in little pubs and But, I mean, it's called the music business. There's a name to it.
For a reason. For a
reason. And for every single musician out there, you know, you have to know that you're in business with yourself.
Absolutely.
You have a business. This is your business. I run my business. I get up in the day. I check out where I can get gigs. Oh, I've got to promote my CD. Oh, I've got to do photos. Oh, I've got to la. Nobody does it for me. I'm not Mariah Carey. I don't get it done for me. I drive my own car to my own gigs. Mm-hmm. I take my gear out, etc., etc. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying that that's my business and I run my business.
So you need to take care of it, I mean,
you have to.
I think
you have to.
I've been very, very blessed along the way. I've had some great people who have guided me and helped me along this journey as an artist. Some key people, you know, both in the industry and without, and from my family and my mom and my aunts and my son and my daughter, etc., my brother, who have supported me. But I think for me now at this stage in time, it is very important for Gabs and I to see TUMSA helping artists, because part of our mission as a union, of course, we are fully affiliated to COSATU. They were our mother body, and they've been incredibly helpful, the people at COSATU and SACTU, etc. So we're interested, Cindy, in the legislation and the regulation of our industry as a labor force, because we do contribute towards the economy.
Absolutely, we are a labor force.
Yeah, we contribute tremendous amounts of income towards our GDP. Why is nobody talking about that? What work that artists have been doing for decades and decades and decades that has contributed towards the well-being of this country, not just its GDP economically, but towards its social well-being, its mental well-being. That's what we as creative people do. So
because
why is it that we have still to fight so hard to prove that, you know, for God's sake, I've been doing this for 30 something years. It's the only work I've ever done. Are you going to tell me 30 something years down the line, oh, Vicky, no, that wasn't work.
It wasn't a job. It wasn't a job.
It was just
fun. I know. When people say to me as well, like, I get on stage, they say, oh, you're having such fun. You just enjoy yourself. I say, do you know what it takes? Firstly, I get up early. I've got to do my makeup. I've got to go in my car. I've got to pack my gear. I've got to get to the gig. I've got to unpack my gear.
You've got to remain sober.
All the time, 3 hours of work, you know. Then I've got to unpack my gear. In the meantime, saying hello to everybody, talking to everybody, making everybody feel good. By the time I get home, it's absolutely 10, 11 hours. That's a long ass day.
Exactly.
You know?
So you actually you're making a very valid point there, and I think this is going to hopefully come into play with the law soon. And busy with the registrar at the Department of Employment and Labour. This is a key fact. When people claim that musicians cannot be regarded as workers because they only work for 3 hours a night or whatever, that's not true. You've just said it. We 9 times out of 10, we're up
11
at,
hours.
Yes, we're up at 7 or whatever time. Whether it's interviews, whether it's planning our diaries, whether it's busy with something related to our craft. That is work. It's not just 3 hours when you jump on that stage looking all glamorous. You know?
That's the nice part. That's the fun part, yeah.
That is
Vicky,
the fun part.
Well, firstly, I wish you all the best with that. I think musicians, as soon as they know everything that's going on, I'm sure everybody will want to join the union and be represented by something like this. So I wish you really, as I said, I wish you the very best for all of you to get this initiative going. So can I ask you, as a person, if you were going to do anything again, what would you do differently?
Oh, you know.
I know.
That's quite a question.
Yeah.
I don't know. Jeez, that's a hectic one.
I'm sorry. Like you were just going on overdrive, now making you think.
Maybe what I would have done, I don't know. I have had many opportunities to live in other parts of the world.
Yes.
But my heart has always cried out to come home to Africa, to this beautiful continent of ours. And I know actually that I've missed many boats on that level, you know. And sometimes I've wondered what would have happened had I taken up certain opportunities that were waiting for me out there, as opposed to here.
Yes.
But needless to say, we can't be in two places at the same time. And my biggest consolation is that, Vicky, your contribution to not just your career and that and other people's lives in this country and your family and your own, you know, your time is still coming. There are other things that God wants to take part of and to work on. And your place is here in Africa. You can't leave because you have unfinished business. And I believe that in my core.
I totally believe in that. Yeah, I believe in those higher callings, you know, that we get spoken for. Your music now, are you working on something new?
Actually, you know, RJ Benjamin and I, on my third album, which was a bit of a disaster, don't want to go into detail about that. It's an album that contains 5 original tracks, of which I wrote all those songs.
Okay.
And one of the tracks, RJ initially produced that album. That album it nearly drove me around the bend and over the edge, but I came back from that one. He produced it, and one of the tracks we co-produced together was called Love and Miracles. And I spoke to him last year, and we're actually thinking of re-releasing Love and Miracles.
Okay.
Redoing the song and putting it out there. It's just a beautiful love song and very hopeful and stuff. So that is something in the pipeline.
Okay.
At this point, there's somebody has indicated something in the line of my longevity and my legacy.
Yes.
A couple of weeks ago, I was very blessed to spend some time house sitting for someone in Fishhook, and an amazing person, love her to bits, and she has proposed something to me with regards to my life and my story.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that she's busy with something at the moment. When she's done with that, we're going to go to the drawing board and start planning and start working on it. So it's not at this point, it's not a show, but it's who is Vicky? What happened? Who am I? What brought me to this point of my life? So it's something I'm really looking forward to, Cindy. And I don't know, somebody mooted there earlier that you and I must do a duet. We've got so many duets
fantastic.
to do. Yes. I don't see why not.
This show is about Vicky and Vicky's dreams and Vicky's stuff, what she wants to do. It's important to people to know that there's more facets to you. So, I'm doing a show now. Yes, I'm a singer. I've written a book. I've got a jewelry line coming up. I've got this, blah, blah. I'm just saying, you do not stop at this unless you want to. There are a lot of people in the industry that say, "What? I'm done. I'm throwing up my guitar. I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to hang out with my family, whatever." I, like you, that's why I'm reacting so well to what you're saying.
Yeah.
Is I've still got so much to do.
But sometimes, Cindy, sometimes we really have to fight. We have to fight to find that inspiration and that hope every single day.
Yes.
It's really not easy. It hasn't been easy. We all know the effects of COVID, not just on our industry, that's been devastating, but on our psyche as a world, as people everywhere in the world. And that's why it's been so sad for me to see the severe impact it has had on what we do as creatives, and the dire consequences of that. So, I said it earlier and I'll say it again. I'm just amazed that I'm still here, guys, and I'm still sane, relatively sane. Obviously not that sane. I must be a bit insane to still want to carry on. But we can't just, even though some days I have thought about it, I thought, geez, I'm actually tired. I don't know if I can do this anymore. I don't know if I want to do this anymore. But there's always something that pulls me back, and it's that little spark. We know where that inspiration comes from the source.
Well, that's the creator. There is something bigger than us.
Yeah.
That makes what we do relevant in the world.
Yeah. And we know that the world needs us probably now more than they ever have. The world needs us.
Absolutely. And yet the music industry has been hardest hit.
Yes.
Ironic. All of this. Ironic that the world needs music and the music has been shut down. I did an article for a little local paper, and they said to me, we'd like you to write about what it feels like to be in COVID right now as a working musician who's always had gigs and stuff. And I titled the article "The Day the Music Died."
Oh gosh. Yeah.
And that felt like something big to me, because the music has died. As much as we need it, as much as it's part of everything that we do, it has to be put back. It has to come back. I think that a lot of the depression and the stuff that people have been dealing with possibly has to do with the creative and the music industry having lost that ability to reach out to people, because that's what we do when we go on the stage. And people want to be reached out to. People want to come to the show and they want to feel something. Hey, the energy of the band, we want to groove, we want to do something. Can't do it.
We heal people. We can heal people. And going back to what I said earlier, hence, I cannot afford to, at this stage of my life, just record any old song just for the sake of being out there and hit. I need to know that the music I'm going to create is going to have as positive an impact as possible on the world and on the people around me, because I know what it's like to be depressed and to be down and to feel unworthy and to feel
lost,
sad, and to feel like you don't count and not that important. You know what it's like.
I know.
There are thousands and thousands of creatives, musicians, dancers, singers, technical lighting, sound people in this country that have been knocked sideways and back by COVID, who are sitting there wondering, oh, what the hell is going on? Are we ever going to get something back? So
we've got to believe, you know, we have to have faith that something is going to happen, because if we don't have faith, then we have nothing. So we have to have something to start with. I don't.
Your show, let me just say, Cindy, gosh,
Yeah?
before you, I forget, this is an amazing platform. Thank you so very much. To you and Jules, your entire team. It's so beautiful to just be able to talk with a sister, you know, who understands where I come from, who understands where we come from. And to know that there are people out there who are seeing the angle of Vicky Sampson, you know. Thank you for that opportunity. Once again, it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing that you're giving us. So God bless you on the way forward always.
Vicky, I don't know what to say. I'm just, you know, I was given this, like, it was lockdown. Julian said, hey, do you want to do a show? I'm like, okay. It was so naturally done, with no big pomp and ceremony. And it was done at all times with that in mind, that I want you to speak you to the people. I want people to hear who you are, you know, the ups, the downs. And that's what I've loved also about this interview. Vicky, you've shared your heart, you shared your music, you know, and as we know, this is always an up and down thing. But everybody's like that. We're up, we're down. I want to ask, I mean, we actually, the show's over, but we just always keep talking a bit. I've got to ask you. So there's still two things that I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to ask you one more question.
Yeah.
And then I've got to play the song.
The song!
I call it the song. But do you think we still have some folks watching out there? We definitely do. We have people there. My cousin is still in England looking at us, loves the show, watching Terry Barker. We love all our Muso family. Shelley Howroyd. Hi. Ellie. Music business 100%. Yes, business. Mark Bloomberg. I know we've been having a problem with sound, but at least we're here. We're doing the best we can. Before I ask my last question, I want to thank everybody that does come on board, the people that come and listen to these stories. I want to thank the artists of the night. What a blessing you have given us, Vicky, to given us your heart, shown us who you are, share your music with us.
Thank you.
I couldn't ask for anything better. And
Viyakuthanda kakhulu.
Kakulu. Siyabonga. Sisi.
Your question.
Yes. My question is,
I hope I can answer.
It's not a bad question. Are you in a good space right now? Where are you now in your soul?
Ooh, yeah.
I keep asking you this, and you say the same thing. Oh, Yara, with this. I'm sorry I asked you that.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because
it's funny.
Please, that is like that question. That is the question.
Is that the question, darling?
Wow, Cindy. All I can say is, you know, you've been there. I'm there, my sister. Right now, I'm saying, Father, help me, please, because I really don't know. Where do we go
from here? I know.
I'm not sure where I'm going, and I'm not sure if I want to go anymore. So that's where I'm at.
I get it.
But at the same time, I know that as long as God gives me a breath to wake up every morning, there's a purpose.
Yeah.
As long as I'm still here, the job isn't finished. So I'm just trusting. I'm trusting our Creator that it will all come together as it must. And the sadness and the pain in the world and inside ourselves will one day be fulfilled and be filled.
Yes.
But it's been a lonely, incredibly difficult time. So with that being said, I'm just grateful that I'm still here and I'm on your beautiful show tonight. So thank you so much for this gift. It's been so beautiful. Thank you. You don't know what you've done for me, Jeff. Thank you.
That makes me so happy. You know, everybody believes in different things. There's Buddha, there's Allah, there's God, there's a universe, whatever you believe in. As long as you know when you wake up in the morning, something bigger than you is making some decisions, because we can't make all the decisions all the time.
Absolutely not.
It's just a lot to take on.
It is too much.
It's a lot to take on. So you've given us so much tonight. I don't know what to say. Most
we still have a lot of conversations after the show.
You and I. Oh boy. I'm glad I got your number, honey.
You got my number, baby.
I got your number, and I think I got it from Lionel Bastos.
Oh, Lionel.
We love Lionel to death.
I haven't seen him in years.
An absolute sweetheart. I love him.
I know.
Great musician, great songwriter.
Beautiful.
He's going to be on the show.
Is it?
Definitely.
Oh, cool. You must let me know when so I can watch.
In fact,
we need a part 2.
I feel like I'm missing things. Sometimes I put someone on the show. What is they saying?
They're saying we need a part 2.
We need a part 2. Well,
of this show.
So like a part 2. We don't get through everything. You know. I mean, but again, once the last ones are the thank yous to everybody to giving me this beautiful platform to do this, to the people that come and watch us. Leonard, thank you so much. All of you that listen to us, and to this beautiful artist that shared her time and shared her heart with us. Thank you, Vicky.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And just to everybody out there, you know, guys, it's not easy. It's not easy being human, but we do understand that there's a greater purpose, and we are more than human. Actually, we are much more than that. And I think it's the knowledge of that at times that sometimes scares me a bit, and that frustrates me, because this vehicle that we've come in is so limiting. You know, we've seen what COVID has done to this vehicle.
Yes, our bodies. Yes.
Yeah, but don't judge a book by its cover. Let's learn to stop doing that, people. Let's get to know each other soul to soul first. But God bless you for watching and for taking the time out. Thank you to Cindy and to Jules and to the rest of the team. God bless South Africa. God bless Africa. God bless the world.
We're going to play out with this beautiful, amazing, legendary song from Vicky Sampson. Peace be with you all.
Sometimes alone in the evening, I look outside my window at the shadows in the night. I hear the sound of distant crying, the darkness multiplying, and weary hearts deny.